do in this lifetime of mine, I'm a therapist. I'm a therapist both of the soul and of course of the body and of the bodies, because we have more than just one body. And I do work with people, with human creatures, and with animals, and together with them, for them. So to help them to gain or regain our physical balance together with the mental one and the emotional one. So both if the dog is a puppy and need to develop himself, herself, or whether the dog is old and has several different problems, I can do help them, the dog and the owner, because I always work with both of them, because once I leave the animal will be with someone that needs to know what to do. So I leave some tasks, some tips, some informations for the owner to practice what I have been doing in the session together with the dog. And not the same, but a very similar manipulation of the body that I do on animals, it's possible on humans. And I've studied few different techniques, and I've melted them. I've melted them in one technique that is my honey. It's my honey, it's my personal honey. And I would call it syncretic, because it's more than one thing together. So it's syncretism. And it works on different layers, on the physical one of course, and when we work on the physical one, I concentrate and focus mostly on the fascia, which is part of the connective tissue that is present in our bodies. But not only that, and I go deeper into the etheric template and something else too. The way that I move the skin and the fascia, partially I have studied it, and partially I have just come here on the planet with some infos that I discovered working very, very well. So I cannot say that I do only one kind of manipulation, because it would be misleading and it's not what I do. But as I said before, I studied different techniques and I've melted them, and it's quite, I'd say, spontaneous and very intuitive, but has also a scientific foundation and some theoretical postulates and very particular patterns of movements that I do. But it's a base, and it's very functional, it's wonderful, it helps release toxins, pains, mostly pains, even harsh bad memories that are inside, stuck into our cells and into the animal cells too. So this is the body part that I do, both on and for people and on and for animals. The other thing that I do is the counseling sessions, and what it's counseling to me, it comes from Latin, from the verb consulere, which means to counsel indeed. But it's not only that, because to me the counseling that I do, it's like a very ancient form of psychotherapy. Psyche is the soul. Therapy means healing. So I work for healing of the soul and of the spirit into the human form. So I welcome in my studio, whether it is in physical person or online, creatures, human creatures that are spirit souls being that come to me because they they know they need something different from what vast majority of the world can offer them. And many people like me do this work, and it comes from esoteric knowledges, but not only that, it's really holistic. And when I mean holistic, it means that it takes into account the whole creature, so the body, the psyche, the mind, the emotions, all the dynamics of the souls and of the spirit. What do I do? Well, basically, there's unconditioned listening to whatever the people is going through, and then we spot together all the informations that needs to be revealed in a very precise way, so not to be mixed up or confused anymore in some dynamics that the people might have been going through in that very particular period of his, her life. And why do I do this? Because it's my highest calling to help individuals to become the best possible versions of themselves. And this is what nature does naturally. Like every natural element that is present in the universe manifests itself, herself, himself in the best possible way. But with humans, it's kind of more difficult. They get stuck. We get stuck many times. And if you do not know what's the source code beyond, it's quite hard and could be a bit of a hazard to resolve things. But if you know the source code, then you can plasmate and manipulate in a positive way your life far easier. For example, this is what co-creation really is. But you have to know what to insert the new codes. It's like when you work on a computer. You have what appears to be real, the layout, the colors, the interface that you're dealing with. But then, if you click on the right with the right button of your trackpad or mouse, and you click on inspect element, a whole world opens on your right, and it's all the codes that stay before what you actually see. And this is what to me is working on the soul level of the creature. It's working really in the buttons room. This is what I do. I do love doing that because it's so fulfilling to help others to help themselves, manifesting themselves and blossoming. And if every one of us blossoms, you can imagine what a wonderful triumph of flowers and flowering creatures the world would be. Going back for a second for the animals stuff that I do, I work on animals and for them, yes. And I do love to emphasize and highlight that I do highly recommend people to work on themselves when they have an animal, because the animal is very linked to their souls, and many things can be prevented by the human working on himself, herself. And this is crucial and this is vital, because I've seen so many times many recurring things happening all over again, and they will happen really again and again, like a karmic cycle, if the person does not realize and comprehend what is the message beyond this event. So I do really suggest to work on yourself, on your soul part when you work on your animals, because the result is really very much amplified and made more real. But this does not exclude working hands-on for different reasons, but one of them is that everything we do with the matter and physically can be really a ritual to anchor, to ground all the knowledge that we have gained and acquired. So it's a wonderful tool to settle things down, to root them, and to create solid foundations for upcoming evolutionary steps of your life that can be very much enjoyable too. It doesn't have to be a burden. It's sometimes hard, all the experience we go through, and we are asked to overcome, to understand, but life will always be a very creative process, because life is creation and creation is never ending. It doesn't have to be so tiring. It can be very much enjoyable. Yes, of course, it requires a commitment, the commitment of being alive and to get to know who you are and how you work. But it can be, definitely, it can be and has to be pleasant. So this is Migdal, the path of the self, a very thrilling path indeed. I wanted to introduce my work and how I do that. I work both in Italian and in English, if you have this question wandering in your mind. I'm glad that you stayed with me today, and if you have any comments, any questions, feel free to write them below or to email me directly. See you very soon, and thank you again to have stayed with me. Bye.